Alright, welcome back guys, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm Vision here with Blind Entertainment, bringing you guys another video. Today I'm going to be giving you guys my top 8 best episodes of The Walking Dead Season 8. Now you might be asking, why am I doing the top 8, not like the top 10? Well, since The Walking Dead is split into 16 episodes, I decided to do it where I'm going to rank my top 8 episodes and then my bottom 8 episodes in the next video of this, or I don't know when that video is coming out, but I'll do that one next, and then after that I'll be doing a ranking of all 8 seasons, so stay tuned for those 2 videos if you're interested in those. But let's get into this. Now, first off, coming in last and 8th place is episode 16, the season finale, Wrath. Now, usually I probably wouldn't put a season finale in last place, or like, I'd probably have it higher on my list, but a lot of things happened in the season finale that just frankly annoyed me, and I just found it not to be as good. I wouldn't put it on the worst episodes of the season, but I just couldn't put it up high enough on my list where it'd be like one of the best episodes. One of my biggest complaints with this episode is we've been building up for the entire season for this final showdown between the Saviors and the militia, and we get about maybe not even a minute, I'd say, of them actually fighting and shooting at each other. We just had them running at each other in the field, and then we get a few seconds seeing Michonne cut down a few people, and then a few gunshots with Rick, and then the people escaping from the hilltop and Oceanside showing up. We get I would say maybe 30 seconds to a minute of that actually happening, and then the battle's over. I feel like there was so much that should have happened that didn't. It just very much frustrated me and was just kind of a letdown. And if you look at the season finale in a whole, it was just them standing in the woods aiming guns at each other. Half of them blew up, and then they all ran at each other in the woods. And then I know this has probably been said thousands of times by other people, but the main showdown between Rick and Negan was just 2 men chasing each other around a tree. And then to have it just felt so anticlimactic, where Rick finally stabs him in the neck, and then I know he was supposed to survive, but they didn't build it up to the point where it felt satisfying enough. It just felt weak, and then they spent the next half hour of seeing what's going on in the other communities. That was fine, but I feel like we should have deserved better. We should have gotten more from a season titled All Out War. For the last battle of the season to be like this, it just didn't hold up well. It just frustrated me, and I don't know. Leave your thoughts and opinions on this episode. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for putting it this high up on my list, but honestly, there was not enough good things in this episode to make me put it up higher. So let me know how you feel about this episode in the comment section down below. Coming in at 7th place will be the mid-season finale, episode 8, How It's Gotta Be. Now, there was some really good stuff in this episode that I really love and like to go back and watch, like the showdown between Simon and Maggie at the roadblock, and Gavin arriving at the kingdom, and all that. That was such great stuff going on there. But then you get to the Alexandria stuff, and that really left a lot of sour taste in my mouth, which is why this is so high up on my list. One of my biggest issues with this episode alone is the fact that we get left in the cliffhanger of Carl being bitten. Now, I never had a problem with Carl dying. I always like it when they mix things up, and I don't blame Scott Gimple for his death. But I would have preferred if they revealed his bite in the mid-season premiere instead of the mid-season finale, and instead of having to wait 2 months to see the outcome later, even though we pretty much knew he was going to die. But other than that, it was just annoying that we had to wait 2 months. And then my second biggest fault on this episode was the fact that we didn't actually see the bombing of Alexandria. We saw it in the background when everybody was running, but I wish we would have seen houses blowing up, and the reactions of the Alexandrians as they see it all happening. I kind of understand why it happened, because they can't actually blow up houses and whatnot, due to them shooting in an actual neighborhood and shooting at night and stuff like that. I understand that some of the stuff isn't capable of happening, but they should have at least maybe, I don't know, found a place where they could have shot a few houses getting blown up and stuff like that, on an off-site location or something. How hard could that have been to do? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being like really wanting to see it happen. But I feel like there was so much good opportunity here, it was just squandered. But leave your thoughts and opinions on this episode in the comment section down below. Next, in sixth place, we got episode 3, Monsters. Now, this had some great stuff, from Eric's death to the Morales showdown with Rick. Great stuff. Also great stuff with Morgan and the prisoners, and all that stuff on the road there. Great stuff. But the thing that held this episode back for me was the lacklusterness of the Kingdom story. Now, I know that they can't have action all the time, but I don't know, something in this episode just didn't click right for me with the Kingdom, and it just held this episode back a bit. I really love what they did. Other than that, the Daryl and Rick stuff with that one guy wanting Rick telling him that he'll survive and then Daryl killing him. Great stuff. I love what they did. Just wish that some of the stuff was handled a bit better. I don't know. It just felt a little bit like they needed the Kingdom to be in this episode, and I don't know. It just felt like some of the stuff, I don't know, wasn't necessary. But overall, great episode. Really good stuff. Character development and setup for coming up episodes. Really great stuff. Oh, but leave your thoughts and opinions of this episode in the comment section down below, and let me know how you feel about this episode. Next, coming in fifth place, we got episode 2, Damned. Now, this is a really good episode. I like what they did with the whole Morgan going into clear mode at the satellite outpost, Tara wanting to kill them all, and then we got the one guy surrendering. I really like that stuff. Great stuff there. Great stuff at the outpost of Rick. And the Morales reveal at the end of the episode. Great stuff. Morales was handled great. Just wish he had survived longer. The whole end scene was really done great. One thing holding this back was the whole Kingdom. I understand we can't have action from everybody. I understand that. But it just felt like in episode 2 and 3, they were just on a mission or a journey somewhere. And it just didn't progress their story much to me. Well, it did. It progressed their journey and their setup, but it just, I don't know, felt a little bit boring compared to everything else going on. But I do understand why they had it happening. I just wish that it was handled a little bit better. But overall, I find this episode really good. Great action, great stuff for the season, for All Out War. Just wish just a little nitpicking in some areas. But leave your thoughts and opinions of this episode in the comment section down below. Next, in fourth place, we got episode 13, Do Not Send Us Astray. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to point out some things that I don't like the whole Henry being responsible for their prisoners escaping, and the fact that no one woke up from the people who got infected turning. No one woke up for that. That was really stupid. However, they did some really great stuff in this episode that I'm able to look past some of those dumb things and put this high on my list. For some of the simple reasons that they had the characters that were infected earlier in the episode turn in the middle of the night. That was such a great action scene. Some great, scary moments in the dark. Really great stuff. Really love some of what they did there. Another con I do have is that the Doctor died from the Kingdom idiotically, in my opinion. Not, a waste of time to even introduce that character, just to kill her off. Great stuff between Carol and Tobin right before his death. Great stuff. I feel like this episode was probably one of the best in the second half, in my opinion. One of the better ones in the second half. I really love what they did overall with this, and I feel like it was probably some of the best stuff with Simon, and some good stuff with Dwight and all that. It was really good stuff. I just feel like some of those other two things just got in the way of it being great, but I feel like it was really, really good episode. But leave your thoughts and opinions of this episode in the comment section down below. Moving into our top 3, we got episode 9, Honor. Now, this was a good episode. This was a really good episode and a good send-off to a great character, Carl. Now, I gotta point out one con I did have was the whole Kingdom stuff. I feel like it interrupted the flow of the Carl story and his dying. I feel like that interrupted it. I know some people say it was the death of Carl and rise of Henry. If you don't look at it that way, you can. I just don't see it that way. Henry's just like a C-level character that doesn't matter at this point. And another kind that really bugs me, even to this day, is that Gavin was killed off. That annoys me even more. Even at the hands of Henry, nonetheless, a kid. That really annoyed me. And just maybe not like this episode. But overall, it was a great send off to Carl. I think they did some great stuff, some great callbacks, and just some overall. Like I feel like for to send off Carl in such a great way, they handled it good. Another kind of have is that they didn't reveal his bite in this episode. If they had revealed his bite in this episode, I probably would have liked it better and have it all happen in one episode. Other than that, I find this episode really, really good. Great send off to Carl, like I said, and some great callbacks from previous seasons. I think they had as best as they could given the situation, and I think that this episode could go down as probably one of the best episodes. As if people look past the fact that they're mad that Carl died, I think that this is a great episode, and I think that it deserves some praise even though it is the episode that we say goodbye to a fan favorite that is still alive in the comics. Our runner-up, coming in second place, is episode 1, the premiere, Mercy. Now, this had some great stuff in it. The introduction to Sadiq, the battle at the sanctuary, and all that great stuff. The great cliffhanger with Gabriel. And I think they handled it best they could. I feel like The Walking Dead that always has a good track record with premieres, and they handled this one no differently. Great stuff, great setup. I feel like one nitpick fans could make is saying that no one on the saviors or on our hero side ended up dead, but I feel like that wasn't necessarily needed, and it was handled best way they could. They adapted this source material and made a really great episode out of it. I think that what they end up doing from here on out, this episode really set up what this season was all about and introduced us to a great character and had some great storytelling potentials after this episode. Now, coming in first place, my favorite episode of the season would have to be episode 4, Some Guy. Now, usually I don't care for bottle episodes where just one or two big characters premiere. However, I love this episode so much. It's probably one of my favorite episodes, as you can tell, as it's at number 1 of the season. I just love this character. And it takes Ezekiel, who the actor Corey Payton does an amazing job bringing this guy to life. You actually, in my opinion, you can believe that this guy is a king. Like, this is something that I loved about the episode. Like, and the actor, you believe this guy's a king. But in this episode, he's stripped of that. He loses Shiva, which is a great scene, one of the best scenes of the season. And he's stripped of everything, almost down to his dignity, by that one guy, Gunther. Like, he loses everything just until he's left to Jerry and Morgan and Carol. He loses everything, and we get to see that he's not this king that Corey Payton perfectly portrayals. He's just some random dude. And that's what I love about this episode. It takes Ezekiel, who, like, in my opinion, like I said, Corey Payton brilliantly brings him to life as a king that you believe is a king, but strips him of that, and you see him for just as some random dude like you and me. And I love that about this episode. The writing was amazing. The episode was great. Rick and Daryl didn't necessarily need to be in it, but it just added for some fan service for those two characters. All in all, I find this to be a great episode. Probably one of the best bottle episodes that The Walking Dead has done in a while. I love this episode, and I think it probably could go, makes for Corey Payton to have like the best portrayal of Ezekiel in the entire show, in my opinion. But leave your thoughts and opinions of this episode in the comment section down below. So yeah, guys, that's my ranking of the top 8 best episodes of Season 8 of The Walking Dead. Leave your rankings of your top 8, or if you want top 10 episodes of Season 8 of The Walking Dead, in the comment section down below. I'd love to know your guys' rankings of the episodes, and let's have a nice, good discussion of the best episodes of the season. I always like interacting with you guys and getting your guys' feedback, so let me know what your favorite episodes or best episodes of the season are in that comment section down below. And again, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to subscribe down below and hit that bell icon. That way you don't miss any future videos on The Walking Dead moving forward. This has been Vision here with Blind Entertainment, and I will see you next time.